Weird Street Fighter games, and this today we'll be looking at Street Fighter 2 for Java. And what does that even mean these days? Yes, it was the mobile phone game that you'd get in about 2005, 2007, basically in the land before smartphones. So in 2007, Capcom did the impossible when they released Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition for mobile telephones. Yes, now that may not seem impossible by today's standards. When Capcom released the PS5 level version of Resident Evil 4 Remake on the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max just recently, but back in 2007, we didn't have smartphones as we know them today, and having Street Fighter 2 on a phone in your pocket seemed incredible. This is the latest episode of Weird Street Fighter games, and in today's edition, we'll be looking at the Java version that, if you were lucky, you could play on your Nokia camera phone. Now, the Java version of Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition is a severely compromised version of the game, but for what it was trying to achieve, I have to say, it's actually quite playable. The game features all 12 characters from Champion Edition, and they are all playable. There are some versions of this game which cut characters, but not on Java. The game is also by far the easiest of all versions that I have ever played to pull off all of your special moves. The game features various control layouts depending on whether you want to play this one or two-handed. If you had a phone with no D-pad, you'd use 1 and 2 to jump backwards and forwards, and 3 and 4 to walk left and right. 3, 6, 9, and then hashtag, then pull off your various punches, kicks, and special moves. It's all quite clever, actually. With this control method, there'd be no way you could do button combos to pull off specials, so having them mapped to a single button makes them the easiest to pull off out of any version of Street Fighter that I've ever played. The game will still let you pull off moves with button combos, but as soon as you discover how easy and fun it is to go and pull out a yoga flame or a dragon punch with a single tap of a button, you'll kind of wish you had this on every Street Fighter game. I mean, yeah, it kind of feels like cheating, but some may reject this idea and think that button combos are the skill of the game and therefore the fun. But I have a slightly different view on it. I'll be honest, when I play Resident Evil, I don't think it's too easy to fire the grenade launcher and wish I had to pull off a button combo to fire the gun. Sometimes you just want to press a button and pull off a move. Now, the graphics on the game look a little bit more pixelated and scrunchy than most other versions, but they are relatively good. There's just an absolute minimum of animation frames in this game as possible. You get one punch and one kick, and I'm pretty sure one move is 1 frame each. So, well, not just one move, in fact, a lot of moves are just 1 frame each. Same with a lot of the different moves, and in one sense, it's impressive how they've been able to reduce the game this much, but still have it be playable. The backgrounds aren't animated at all, which I wouldn't have expected them to be, and between the stages the portraits of the fighters are entirely missing and instead are replaced with the in-fight sprites of the characters instead. You can also say goodbye to the special stages, so no punching cars or breaking barrels here. The sound in the game is perhaps the strangest in any of the games I've looked at yet. You have a straight choice. You can either have the music or the sound effects, including the voices of the characters, but you can't have both at the same time. Clearly, this is that the phones at the time couldn't handle playing multiple sounds at once, so you had the unique situation where you had a game that essentially has all of the sounds in the game, but you can't have them all together as you would in other versions. It was either you can hear the music, which is probably what I would recommend, or you could hear the sound effects and the voices of the characters saying Hadouken, etc. Now, one thing this version has over others is that the game could be played on a vertically orientated screen. So that means that the energy bars are above the stage and don't cover the level at all. Other versions do sometimes feature this, but usually have very reduced graphical versions like the Commodore 64. This lets you see the full proper versions, but they don't get obscured by the energy bars. The Java version is easily accessible these days using a Java emulator on PC or on Android. Wouldn't surprise me if it came to iPhones at some point, if they can make that compatible. Playing this way almost certainly will make a better experience due to the large screen size as well compared to what you'd have had back in 2007. Now, by this stage in this series of videos, which truthfully only began because I wanted to play the weird Sega Master System version of Street Fighter 2, I can say that there are a lot more weird versions of Street Fighter games than I first imagined. In fact, I'd argue that there are possibly more weird versions of Street Fighter than there are good ones. Now, at some point I may decide which Street Fighter game I think is the weirdest creation, but I think I still need to dig into a few more along the way. And I do actually think I'm going to come up to something even stranger than the Java game. So, stick with us for the next edition of Weird Street Fighter games here on the Geek Battle Gaming YouTube channel. If you haven't done so already, I would appreciate if you would smash that subscribe button, and as always, if you head over to www.xstreamed.tv, you will find the written article version of all of the videos that we've got on the channel. So with that, until next time, stay safe, always stay extremed, and ciao for now. Sonic boom! And we're off the air.